morning, one and all present here. I welcome you all to the Rp Jubilee celebration program by the Department of English. It is indeed an auspicious day for this department to witness its 40 years of existence. As we can see in the banner, it's from 1979 to 2019. Our chief guest for today is Professor K.R.S. Samba Siva Rao, the Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University, and a very special guest of honor, Professor K.C. Baral, Founder Faculty of the department. And once again, I welcome you all to this Rp Jubilee celebration, and let us welcome each and every one of us. Let us welcome ourselves with a big clap. We shall start our program with a word of welcome speech from the head of department. May I now invite Professor Margaret L. Patsau, the head of Department of English, Mizoram University, to deliver a welcome speech.
Thank you very much, BD. BD is our alumni and also currently doing research with us at the PhD level. At this point of time, respected chief guest, and also our respected guest of honor, who is also founder faculty of the Department of English, and every one of us present here at this August gathering. On behalf of the Department of English, Mizoram University, I welcome each and every one of us at the celebration and the commemoration of the 40 years of existence of the Department of English, the Rp Jubilee, as we've already seen in the banner and already heard from our compeer, 1979 to 2019. 40 years is actually not a very, very mean feat to achieve. So we welcome each and every one of you all at this point of time, and a big congratulations to us also as a department. We are here today, we are honoring the past, we are celebrating the present, and we are also envisioning the future in a very, very positive way. So therefore, a very, very hearty welcome to each and every one of us at this point of time. A very brief speech from me. As we can recall, the Department of English was established in the year 1979, along with two other departments, Department of Education and also Department of Economics, and we were a part of the Northeastern Hill University, Nehu, Mizoram campus at that point of time. So significantly, the idea of celebrating the Rp Jubilee was mooted in February 2017 at a departmental meeting. The manner in which we have managed to come together as a department speaks for the strength and the solidarity and the fraternity that we have together as a department. We have called together our alumni. We even had the first alumni meet of the department in August 2017 in order to also promote and inculcate aspects towards this particular celebration. A very special word of thanks here to our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Arlal Tantuanga, who is here with us, because when he was leaving the campus in his speech, he spoke about how essential it was for all of us to maintain alumni and also alumni groups. At that point of time, I was very, very much just about 2 months into my headship. I took his words very, very seriously, and actually a lot of this particular, the motivation into the celebration of the Rp Jubilee is also attributed to him largely, because through him we were able to trace our alumni dating back to 1979 and also to the last batches also for that matter. So a big thank you to him at this point of time. Therefore, through that particular contribution, we have managed to raise over here 2,93,000 rupees to date for the celebration of this particular Jubilee. Today, we are selling our souvenir journal. We are also selling some souvenirs on behalf of the Rp Jubilee in order to commemorate the same. Everything in total will actually be given to the poor fund at the Aizawl Civil Hospital Charity Fund. So we are also encouraging this. This is also by way of giving thanks to the Almighty and also giving back to the community at large. Then, what we would like to briefly highlight over here is the fact that the department has grown, as you can see, very richly from having a smattering of maybe 4 or 5 students at the very inception. We are now having 40 students, that is our intake only, a whole lot of admissions, a whole lot of PG students, graduates under us, and also MPhil and PhD scholars. And also we have had teachers who have done projects, seminars, everything out over here. So this is a part of the entire gamut, in short, of the 40 years of the contribution that we have here. So we welcome all of you here, and we want that you participate in our celebration out over here, and that you not merely participate, but also in earnest belong to the participation and the celebration for these 2 days, today and tomorrow. So as a department, we look forward to many more years of solidarity, to many more years of commitment to excellence, even as we envision, even as we hope and hold on to the adage, which is very, very true, greater deeds remain. Thank you very much. Welcome all of you.
Thank you, Professor Margaret L. Batsuao, the head of department, for the welcome speech. And now we shall lend our ears to the inaugural song, which will be performed by the students of the Department of English. I request them to come here to the front, and let us welcome them with a clap. While they make their way to the front, I'll just say a few things about the song that they are going to sing. The song that they are going to sing is called Mizoram Tan, which is composed by the late C. Zoram Liana. Mizoram Tan simply means for Mizoram. It is a patriotic song encouraging the people of Mizoram, especially the youths, to live or even die for the land.
Sakwa
refreshing inaugural song performed by the students of the Department of English. Thank you all. As the department celebrates its 40 years Ruby Jubilee, the department has prepared a special Ruby Jubilee souvenir journal, which will be released by our respected chief guest today. And yes, we are very fortunate to have Professor K.R.S. Samba Siva Rao, the Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University, as our chief guest today. I now invite him to address the gathering and also to release the Ruby Jubilee souvenir journal. Let us welcome him with a clap.
Good morning, everyone. Respected guests on the dais, Honorable former Vice Chancellor Professor Tulanga, Professor Barrel, Professor Jama Madam, Professor Margaret Madam, and in front of dais, many dignitaries, former Vice Chancellor Leangela, Registrar, Deans, statutory officers, former registrars, and many alumni professors. I'm sorry, several of them I don't know personally. Kindly excuse me for not referring their names. It was a great day for Department of English of Mizoram University, celebrating very prestigious function of 40 years anniversary. Actually, I'm not knowing. I'm asking someone, what is this Ruby Jubilee celebration? Earlier, I never come across this kind of celebration anywhere. Yesterday, I was asking my Shatpiya, what is this Ruby Jubilee celebration? He was mentioning this 40 years old anniversary. This is what actually he was mentioning. Then I realized, so this is one anniversary which can be celebrated by everyone. Like that, I thought. I'm ignorant a little bit, I'm sorry for that. But it was very happy that the department, which was started in the year 1979 under Nehru, Mizoram campus, and later on it has been shifted to Mizoram University in the year 2001. And it was having very good reputation in this university by having very good committed faculty and hardworking faculty forever. And the department has been highly punctual and disciplined. Last 1 or 2 years back, I referred one of the incident which was actually taken place with that of the department. There was one student actually who was asking for admission with the vacant seat of English department. And when I contacted Margaret Madam, she told me that the admissions are closed, so we cannot admit anyone. I was almost telling when the seat is kept vacant, why should we keep that seat was vacant? Like that, I was having a good discussion with her. Why don't we accommodate that student who is very much suffering and want of admission in our university? They cannot go outside like that. She was telling me, sir, as per our department rules and regulations, we stopped admissions, so I cannot open the admission. So then I kept quiet. And I'm just referring that particular incident because how strict about the rules and regulations and discipline of the department, how they operate that. And I've been observing several times about the department attitude of the faculty and every academic activity. Recently, you all know very well about the UGC Strides project opening of applying projects to by department faculty members of every department. I was surprised to know that the first faculty who applied for Strides is from English department. And all faculty almost they applied for UGC Strides, which is a very unique feature. Normally projects means language department people will be very little behind. And they applied more than 5-6 projects, each worth of 50 lakhs to 1 crore projects. And it is a pride moment also I was mentioning because many alumni are here. Mizoram University is a very unique university now. In the last 1 month, the response to the call of UGC strides, more than 150 projects were applied by our university. With no university in the country, including JNU, Hyderabad, or any university in the country, they applied for more than 10 or 15 or 20 or 30. But our people has applied more than 150 strides projects in our university in response to the UGC call. And a good number also under UGC, ICSS or Impress, about 100 projects were applied. In a month, more than 250 projects were applied from Mizoram University. And it was a pride moment for our university because many alumni are here, many former employees are here. We should realize how fast we are galloping into top universities in the country. In the last 2 years, it was approximately more than 150 to 200 crores research projects were sanctioned to Mizoram University. And it was really doing very well. And we are very happy to say that this is the one department, English, has contributed so much for the development of the university. And it is the only department which has got UGC SAP in the whole university. And SAP 1, SAP completed, and SAP 2 is also being on the ongoing process in the Department of English since 2018. And it was concentrating on various trust areas of Mizo language and English language in this area, particularly oral and communicative languages, writing skills of the languages. The UGC SAP is emphasizing on the trust area of the department. And the department was well recognized throughout the Northeast and also throughout the country, particularly emphasizing on the linguistic approach of Mizo language and other languages. I'm not really familiar with language, but what I understood from the department, I just morning I was referring to the department achievements. I could understand all these achievements of English department. The focus of the department is to develop mostly cultural context and to common literary theories and texts to explore the ways in which history, ideology, and material forces and conditions on Northeast priority. And it is doing marvelous job. And it has got a language lab been established a few years back. And it is also been very functional now. In the recent NAC time, we got, because of certain disturbances, the lab is not effective that time, but we got it effective during the NAC time, that particular language laboratory, and it is now full utility of the students. I have a feeling that this lab can be having a good potential to be developed, or even the English department has a good potential to develop into one of the best center of English language and English communication center in this area. Because I was going through many colleges in rural areas, still people are not really very communicative in English language. There is a big responsibility on the Department of English to develop English as a communicative language and also as a language of high reputation, and also for learning the subject of various courses which they are pursuing. It is also very important that particularly in several of the colleges when I'm visiting in the recent days, that many of the teachers are working in the same college for several years, more than 10 to 20 years in the college, and they are not really training the students up to the mark, particularly in language development of the rural areas. I observed in 2-3 colleges, I don't want to mention the college names. Several years, the same faculty is continued in the same college, and the latest developments of the subject actually not been taught to the students in those colleges. And being a very reputed department of this whole state, the department has got more responsibility to impart the English education as a nodal education for all the subjects to learn, and also to communicative skills and also in oral skills of the particular subject. I have some suggestions maybe the various former members of the department and also the present members of the department, they can also think about my ideas about the development of English department further in this area, how it can best help the state, particularly in language development of this state. To establish a center for language incubator. Maybe many people, they may say that he is talking about incubators and he is talking about language incubator also. So this is one doubt many people will get. But it is an incubator where actually we provide training to the children. The deficiencies of the language communication, writing skills, and also the learning skills will be provided at that place. It can be called as incubator. So the language incubator, if it is not been present in the whole country, it is, I'm just mentioning whole country, no university has proposed this kind of language incubator. And I was referring to many universities in abroad where language incubator actually been located. Today morning I was just searching the various universities in Europe and America. And there are certain universities, they proposed for language incubators, but not effectively been taken up, the language incubators. And if you just go into the Google, you can find there are 1 or 2 universities, they proposed for language incubators, but actually it has not been effectively taken up. And it may be called as multilingual language incubator or language incubator. Why I am talking about multilingual language incubator? Because the Mizo language has got a most similarity for English language, particularly in writing of the language. Maybe I am right or wrong, I don't know, but I always observe there is a similarity for Mizo language to English language. A center which can cater the learning of all languages in Northeast, and hence it can be a facility of students coming from rural area, particularly very remote areas. Maybe 3 to 6 months students can be brought to our incubator area where students can be taught. So a department of English of our Mizoram University, which is very unique in establishing the SAP center in our university, the same it can be extended, because this is the only department which has got SAP. Department of EGC. So if it can propose in the coming days, maybe in the next few months, if they can propose this multilingual incubator center of languages or language incubator, it will be good for the students. They can come here for 3 months and 6 months training, and they can go back and they can continue their studies in the colleges where they are pursuing their undergraduate education. And the Faculty of English can think about this one. Maybe because many speakers are here, very English professors from eminent universities. Whether I am right or not, I don't know about this particular language, but they can think about this possibility during the deliberations of the thing. And new generation language laboratory, this is one of the area, another lab you can think of. I'm telling about the various possibilities which I got into my mind. New generation language laboratory. Or you can also call it e-language laboratory. Everywhere we are incorporating electronic. So we can also think about e-language laboratory or new generation language laboratory, which caters and which provides the training to the students through electronic media. This is what my concept, e-language laboratory, by which a student can go to particular software system and he can learn any language. And by just using a particular software and using the particular computer system, he can go for any language which he interested, in particular Northeast or whole India. This is one you can think of as applying to funding of the, because these are all very unique proposals which are not there in any university. And on their own, they can, a self-explanatory, self-learning center of e-language laboratory. This is also one you can propose during your course of development in the future, because already it is a department of 40 years old now. You have to think about little beyond the various advancements in English language. And I've been telling ever since I joined in this university about development of a Google software for Mizo language. Google software for Mizo language. I was telling Margaret Jama madam and many people, I wanted Mizo language. If you go to Google, and if you, any language you take, Hindi or any other language, you have a script, you can translate in Google itself. You don't need to ask a Hindi translator or any other one. Similarly, I wanted the English department to develop one software a Mizo language software. So any English can be converted to Mizo language. Any Mizo language can be converted to English language. This is what I was telling ever since I was joined in this university. I have been asking. So this is one of the need of the hour that you can think of developing Google software for Mizo language translation in this one. These are the challenges, new challenges for the department, which I am thinking about. We are celebrating 40 years of existence of the department, and what next we can do and how best we can be a model department in the whole country. These are the various challenges I have come into my mind. And to think about, we already proposed this one to UGC in the last new courses development as a center for English and foreign languages. And I proposed more than 9 languages to be sanctioned like Chinese, Korea, Japan, Burmese, and like that. I proposed 9 languages center to start with the diploma in each of the language, and a center for English and foreign languages like IFLU University in Hyderabad. I thought of starting one center for international languages, English and foreign languages in our university. This was not approved last year. We propose again this year also for UGC. This is my idea that because it has got an international border, we can start many languages here. So if UGC approves, we can start these courses like all adjacent language countries, those along with English, we can think of this one particular one. Last year, they sanctioned only, we proposed more than 40 new courses. They gave only 4 new courses. So I propose again this year as one of the Center for English and Foreign Languages. This also can be thought about English department for future expansion. To develop a national skill center for languages. National Skill Development Organization is also providing funding for establishing a skill development center. What is that skill? You are talking about incubator again, and you are talking about skill. It may be questioned to many people. It is a different approach. It is a different approach. Skill development programs, actually, they propose only a training of short period of 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 3 months like that. We give training for the children of various schools, colleges, and other people. We just offer some certificate courses, and we also give training for communicative English, written English, and also expressive English. This kind of skill development course, language skill, National Skill Development Center of Languages, particularly English and other bilateral, other languages like collaborative languages like Hindi, Mizo, English, all can be collaborated. This is what National Skill Development Center, we can have one particular proposal, this one. That we can also call as Multilingual Translation Center. Center of Multilingual Translation. That is, subjects of Hindi can be translated to Mizo, and Hindi can be translated to English, and other languages can be translated into. So, National Skill Development Center and Multilingual Translation Center. Particularly Northeast, many languages are there. No actually language research center is not there. And particularly for students, they are very good in English, most of the students. Word Power Vocabulary Development Center. This is what actually, Word Power Vocabulary Development Center. This is one of the center which is actually been even followed in many universities in abroad, Europe and North America. They have the Vocabulary Development Center or Word Power Development Center. This is one lab which can cater the various dictionaries. The database can be incorporated into our system, and the students will be given system. And whenever they have a doubt, they can go and use this particular one. So these are actually, why I'm talking about all this is the traditional language literacy of English language is well aware, and it has been done very successfully for the past 40 years in our university. Now it is the time for shifting slightly towards the modern language trends. This is what actually, I don't expect everything to be taken up by the Department of English, but it is a time to think about the modern aspects of the language, and which are not been followed in many universities and many, even many countries also, they are not following this kind of system. So these are some ideas. So I expect all the English faculty of Mizoram University and also the Pachunga campus think about exploring the possibilities for this kind of development in future. And I wish that this department and the faculty should continue their hard work, sincerity, dedication, commitment for academic development of the Mizoram University and also for the benefit of the students like this, what they are doing for the past 40 years. And I pray Almighty for further success of the department, and I wish everyone a great day ahead, and also congratulations for celebrating this Ruby Jubilee celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, would you kindly resume with the release of the Ruby Jubilee Souvenir Journal? Yes, sir, at the lectern. As the souvenir is released, yes, let us all clap our hands, yes. And Professor S.D. Burrell will be giving a copy to our invitees and special guests. Yes. Yes, sir. Professor KRS, yeah. The Pro Vice Chancellor. Okay, yeah. You may be seated, sir, yeah. Professor Rp Vedera, Pro Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University. Professor Vanlal Sona, Finance Officer, yes. Professor Lanun Danga, Registrar MZU. Yes, sir. Kutlobeng Zelang, Dr. Lalrem Siami, Librarian, Central Library MZU. Professor Lanun Tluanga, Controller of Examinations, Mizoram University, yes, sir. Professor R. Lalthan Tluanga, former VCMZU, yes. Professor K.C. Burrell. Professor Tlang Loma. Professor Lian Zela. Professor Thang Zung Nunga. Pupi Si Lom Kunga. Thank you, Professor S.C. Burrell, for giving away the souvenir. Today, as the department celebrates its Ruby Jubilee, a charity box has been placed outside. So the contributions recovered from this charity box will be donated to the Civil Hospital Aizawl. So I kindly request each and every one of us to contribute for this cause, and together we can make this Jubilee celebration a blessing for others. And as the saying goes, there is nothing too less nor too much, so what we give is enough. So let's start helping this Jubilee. Okay, to commence with our program, now we shall invite our guest of honor, Professor K.C. Burrell, founder faculty of the department, to deliver a speech. Let us welcome him with a clap.
A very good morning to all of you. Professor Rao, the Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University, Professor Tuanga. Actually, Professor Tuanga has a symbolic place here. He was my Pro-Vice Chancellor in Nehu, and then he became Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University. And Professor Jama, and again, Professor Margaret Pacha, and my friend Rampal, Professor Rampal Vedera as Pro-Vice Chancellor. Actually, I don't know, I stand here with mixed feelings, very strong mixed feelings. Because suddenly I realized 40 years have passed by without me noticing it, even if I am now superannuated. Because many things have happened to me as a person, and also to Mizoram University as well. 40 years is a very small time in the life of an institution, but for a long time in the life of a human being. And Margaret has used three very important words, expressions. The idea behind this occasion is to remember and respect the past. And I am the past standing before you. I look very contemporary, although, but I am the past. And to celebrate the present, but she forgot to put something, celebrate the present with the past. Okay? And the vision for the future. And the Vice Chancellor has laid out, as the head of the institution, his vision for the department. I will talk about this, but before that, I want to profoundly thank Professor Margaret Jama, her colleagues, because it's not that this program was fixed in 2017. I was also fixed for this date in 2017. That what may come, I cannot change this date. And I have fulfilled that. I keep my promise to be here on this date. And again, Professor Jama and other friends of the department, I really thank them from the bottom of my heart, bringing here all my old friends. Aizawl may be a small place, but it is extremely difficult whenever I come to Aizawl to meet my friends. Because if you want to visit their house or go somewhere, the traffic and how to reach there when you come back, it is next. Therefore, I come without announcing my arrival here, and quietly I sleep away from this place. Not being accused. Pujela will accuse me, Pupara, you didn't inform me, this thing, that thing. And he has brought almost all my dear friends here. Pubumtea, he was at one stage of my bus. Pujela, the first faculty on Nehu campus. Pupara here. And Professor Tlangloma, he was from Nehu, again shifted here. Now it is encouraging to see all of you actually. My old friends, there are so many here. And my students also. There are some students here whom I taught. Now, why I said I'm standing here with a mixed feeling is that what I have given to Mizoram or to this department, to this university, what this place has given back to me. I have written a long paper here. I'm not going into the details, but in brief, I should say, if what I am today, it may be my own efforts, my own hard work or whatever, but as an individual, what I have become is because of my friends. Because not only me, my friends, all of us, we are living in Mizoram during a very, very difficult times. 79 till 84, even beyond that, it was a very difficult time. And to make my stay of my family, my children, even when I was absent here, it is actually these friends made it possible. Therefore, all of us have very fond memories of this place, although it is very difficult. During those days, even today also, it may be difficult in many ways. What I learned, because before my name it is written motivational speech, and therefore whatever academic speech was in my mind, I am going to abandon here. And for the first time, trying to be a motivational speaker. Okay. That I learned one thing. Maybe I learned many things. I learned one thing. That remoteness is a state of mind. It is not a state of fact. I worked in Mizoram for 11 years. The most impressionable age, I was young, 23 or so, when I came to Mizoram. My PhD was delayed because we are involved in administration and all these things, and you don't get material here, and Siamese here. I created my own resources here. And at one stage, I think she must be carrying, because she is one of the, of course, she looks very young, but she is from our times. We had the best collection of journals, like critical text we are getting in Mizoram campus. It's one of the leading journals. Social text, all the journals we are getting here. I created my own resources, completed my own PhD, sitting in Aizawl. Okay. Now that is where I learned you can create your own opportunities around you if you look for it. If you try out, because there are normal complaints, books are not available, we don't have resources. But nowadays things have changed because you have huge e-resources available to you. You can source it from anywhere. But it was not so in 79. The second thing is, after I left the department in 91 or 92, I have been associated with the department and almost worked with the department, like SAP proposal and all those things. Syllabus committee, I keep on visiting and doing. And I'm today very happy that when the Vice Chancellor said, this is a wonderful department, I'm not going for the rest of the adjectives. Therefore, the department certainly has achieved something, and it has to achieve more because the language skill development and all those things the Vice Chancellor is proposing. But in my knowledge, as the Vice Chancellor is talking about translation, this department has produced the faculty here some wonderful translations, I can tell you. And these translated works have drawn national attention. Like the novelists from here, the poets from here, the storytellers from here, from Mizo language, they have been translated into English. Excellent work. And the students, of course, those who have graduated from here, have done well, but they can still do much better. They need to diversify because the job market in the educational institutions are shrinking. Therefore, the learning in education in English should help them to invent themselves in different areas, because now the world of opportunities are just before them. But one thing they must, this is one strength I think of the Mijos. Whatever position, you make a Mizo president of India, he will not stay in Delhi, he will come back to Aizawl. Is it nostalgia? Or is it DNA? I don't know. Therefore, anybody from Mizoram, kids are getting jobs. Last time, during Pooth longest time, we had an interview for an English teacher. We had 5, 6 Mizo students teaching in Delhi University colleges. They want to come here. Therefore, our students have gone places, including Delhi. They're teaching in Delhi University colleges. And that's a matter of pride. And there must be a lot of people in civil service from English department. Now, this is one side. You make up your mind. When you retire, you come back to Mizoram. There is no problem. But look for jobs outside. You bring money to Mizoram. That is how it is said. Kerala's prosperity came from money order economy. People go out and bring money to Kerala. And that is one of the responsibilities, that you have to bring money here. And I don't think there are too many colleges. You cannot open colleges in every village. Even if you open, the English post will someday saturate. It doesn't mean that the English department will close down. Okay. Now, this is in this context. Briefly, I'll talk few things. One is what is happening to our university system. You see, in 2010, around that time, Professor Rp Vedera, you must have heard his name, he's a renowned sociologist. He published a book called Universities at a Crossroads. What the universities are meant for, what they are doing. And of course, we don't have any debates. What is the status of universities in India? That is 210, around that time. Today is 2019, and the new education policy is on the table. Now, Rp Vedera was desperate, maybe, that the Indian universities are not looking very new, forward-looking, or having some kind of idea about itself. And of course, it is not possible because we have adopted the Western model of universities. It is just transplanted, the British model of university transplanted in India. And these universities, which are still multiplying more than 40, when I joined NEHU, it was the 7th central university, now more than 40 central universities. Okay. Now, why are we not debating about that? As we are also not debating what is the status of humanities teaching in the country. Science and technology has taken more than its share. And the university, the government is very silent on humanities education. See, when the university started, it is started by a scientist. The modern European university started by von Humboldt. His idea was to bring in one location the ideas of science and humanities on the basis of ethics and rationality. Therefore, science is not competing with humanities, or humanities are not competing with anybody. Because if we move towards knowledge society, you need to have a both. Scientific temper, humanistic outlook, and all these things. And that is where departments of social science and humanities, they actually can intervene or study social conflict. Science cannot study social conflict. We talk these days about ethnicity, ethnic identity, ethnic politics. Anthropology will stop identifying you as an ethno. Beyond that, ethnic politics, anthropology cannot say anything. Okay. Now, these are also part of the society. It's not we need technology or science alone, which eases life, which like the inventions in medical science, or let us say, information technology, they have revolutionized life, made our life very comfortable, made the world very small. But at the same time, the crime rate is going on. Atrocities against women is going on. See, now we need to give some time to that, and that should come about or from a kind of sustainable well thought out humanistic program. That is why the IITs started the humanist education. They had the humanities departments, but they started during the last UPA government, they introduced this. Now what is coming in this new education policy is something interesting. You see, before that, the idea of a university was mass production. University was a center for mass education. And Professor Edward Seals, an American who was a part of the Education Commission report in India, he has very clearly said that maybe after independence, there was a need for higher education for mass production. But after that is achieved, when our success becomes so successful that we produced graduates who are called unemployable. That is mass education. Now we must shift from there to specialized educations or technology educations, of the same thing the IITs came forth, like American system. But I would not go both of these. I would look university as a place of knowledge production. Let it come from humanities, let it come from sciences, technology, anywhere. But they need to be integrated. Now, how do we integrate? Do we integrate at a very higher principle? Or do we integrate, or how do we start integrate at a local level? Therefore, my idea of a university would be produced knowledge, locally relevant, and globally competitive. And as the Vice Chancellor has said, rightly, one good thing, can we create a Google translation system between Mizo and English, Mizo versus Manipuri, the Northeast languages? You can go on. That is one thing. And the other thing is that foreign language is not just to give degrees. Even all your engineers need foreign language. If they are efficient in one foreign language, they get access to Germany, to France, or Korea, or whatever. Therefore, language skill is very important. But language skill, nowadays, language is taught as skill, and people are talking about skills and skills and skills. But it should not at any stage undermining the humanistic impulse and the power of the English studies or the literary studies. There has to have a balance between this, because we should not confuse skill with knowledge. Knowledge and skill must go together. And that is where now the plan of having only some set of universities as research universities, the second category of universities as research and teaching universities, and the third universities as only teaching universities. That is the plan. And the new education policy also has brought a heavy dose of liberal arts teaching, because this is an old expression that is humanities education actually. Now what has happened is that whatever we are producing here, research projects, this thing, that thing, where is that data going? I am also an evaluator of ICSR Impress. I am doing a lot of evaluation work, this project evaluation. Fantastic projects, they come. At my area in social science, I am a teacher of English, hardly English proposals come. It comes from mostly media, society, and all these things. Fantastic projects. But who is using this data? Are these data consolidated? See, then what is the use of spending this money? Therefore, as science has done, science has evolved a very good idea, clustering. That you have thematic clusters, whatever data can come, it can go to that thematic cluster, so that you accumulate the data. I'm not very sure about social science or the stride of a UGC program, whether the data is being consolidated under some kind of clusters, so that it has a policy impact as well as it can give direction to further research. Therefore, we are doing a duplication, spending the same money as our social science friends will not get angry with me, that social science researches have almost become predictable. The results have almost become predictable, because we have not revised the empirical method that has come from the West, having a method of our own. Therefore, the data, the way it is analyzed, it is produced same, only the title changes, the theses remain the same. See, that is largely, broadly, that is the kind of thing that is happening. Now, this is, I think I have spoken a little bit about this. Now, I should talk about, for which I am here, what is the future of English studies vis-a-vis the Department of English. Now, we have already spoken about 40 years now. Now, what will happen? Actually, English studies is dead. I am announcing it. Not today, a few years back it has died. But this is a blessing. We were earlier, when I was a student, we used to be confined to study issues like characterization, plot, this, that, rhetorical uses in poetry, symbolism, these are the things. Now, English studies has expanded phenomenally. It is no longer the Department of English Studies, it has willy-nilly become the Department of Cultural Studies. It's the areas of research has expanded like anything without anybody taking notice or giving credit across the country. Okay? Now, in that case, Mizoram University, without getting notice, has done a tremendous job, like the researches they are producing in Mizo culture, Mizo tradition, Mizo folklore. It is being done in Mizo department also. It is done in sociology department also. But the difference is, the critical insight that comes from the English researcher is backed by critical theory. He has read Derrida, he has read Foucault. Therefore, his intervention is totally different from the intervention of other departments. Now, English department is only English literature department is written there, but inside that is everything is happening cultural studies. It is happening across India. Therefore, our students are no longer studying for a PhD topic, man-woman relationship in D.H. Lawrence. They are talking about gender status in Mizo literature. Whether they are intimate, the scene was romantic or not, how the lady behaved. There is a whole book, a huge book by Henry James. What is that? Portrait of a lady. How a lady should talk, because she has come from America to Europe. What is European mannerism and all that? Whole book, some 400 and 500 pages, huge portrait of a lady. We used to read that book to know how a lady should behave. That is in European context. Our women behave in a different way. Because they waste a lot of their time on politeness, thinking, oh, okay, no need, no, don't mention like that. You see, now the horizon of English studies have expanded like anything. It includes anthropological studies, social studies, philosophy. I was surprised, it was your student who did on Hegel. I was stunned, not surprised, stunned. A thesis came to me from Mizoram English department on Hegel, one of the toughest philosophers, who was the foundation of Marxism and all those kind of theses, antithesis and all that. And a thesis written by a student from Mizoram University, I congratulated myself, not the supervisor. Because the foundation was laid. I was really impressed. Pure philosophy, a student of literature has produced an excellent thesis on pure philosophy. See, that is where we measure up the intellectual growth, the knowledge society's progress. How is it progressing? And certainly you have accumulated over the years a lot of intellectual wealth in the department. And this particular progress should continue. This should continue. Because I can say that the translations they have done and the kind of research interventions they have actually contributed substantially enriching Mizo cultural studies. I was not only witness, I was the man behind it. When we were preparing few years back English department syllabus, I told it's a Northeast has got so many writers writing in English. They're very powerful. And we introduced a course, Emerging Literatures of Northeast, to be studied under the English department. That was an innovative idea. Believe me, it started from Mizoram University. Now it has taken up the whole country. And UGC gives 25 lakhs of rupees to start with. If a non-Northeast university starts a course on Northeast studies. It started from Mizoram University, you should give them clap. How much they have popularized? Nobody is clapping, you should do more on that. Okay. Now like this, the first seminar we did on Northeast studies that came out by a book no less than a publisher, Sage. Sage has published that book. Okay. Now therefore, I'm talking specifically about English studies as a knowledge domain. What are the kind of level of knowledge they have produced? That is one, and I think the future is very bright. And as a motivational speaker, I am encouraging the young students, those who are sitting there, because it is generational gap, third generation, like that they are third generation. And they should actually carry this spirit and commit themselves to hard work and visiting less to canteen and using mobile. Rest is yours. See, whatever you want to be, you will be. The department has that resource to guide you, to actually help you to grow. And there are wonderful people in the department. They can do everything for you. It is up to you how much you take away from them. Okay. Now, the future of this department, as I told, it is dead, but I should have put another word, it is also reborn. English studies is dead. English language literature department is dead. It is reborn as English Studies and Cultural Studies, English and Cultural Studies Department. Therefore, this is one way of looking at it. And the other thing is, what is necessary for English studies is, now we, metaphorically, we live in a world, globalization has become passé. Nobody is talking about globalization these days. And if this protectionism, all these things are coming up, globalization is also dead. But nobody can take away the local. The local can never be replaced by the global. The local will keep on continuing. Therefore, location, culture, identity, these three things are very important. Because when I say location, Mizoram is a location. Mizoram is an identity. Mizoram is an ethnicity. How does this local looks at the world? It is not how the world looks at the Mizos, how the Mizos look at the world. That should be our beginning. Why? Because it allows us some kind of comparison with others. It also allows us some kind of interior look, what I call self-scrutiny. Have I arrived at the platform to take on the world? Is it only my hard work that will pay? Or I need to enhance my capability? Therefore, the moment you challenge yourself, you will be at the top. Challenge yourself on everything, you will be at the top. Because as I started that globalization is passé, what is the world we are living in thereby? Are we living in only Google age? No, Google age itself metaphorically says we are living in a post-human society, where the artificial intelligence is going to take over everything. That is post-human. The human thinking, functioning, everything is gradually diminished. Machine takes over. That will be a dreadful world. That will be a dreadful world when the machine takes over. Now the challenge is to keep our humanism alive, even in a post-human world, in a post-human society. That is where our imagination should not be dead. We can human beings have constantly reinvented themselves. So when we talk about technology, none of your teachers might have told that when script came, or humans invented script, they also invented where the script should figure itself, either a slate or a parchment or a paper, and how the inscription should take place. You need a pen or a pencil or a chalk. Therefore, the first academic technology is a chalk. And whatever technologies we use, whiteboard, we use computerized blackboard, but the blackboard concept has not disappeared, by the way. The writer has not disappeared. Something you need to write on it. That comes from the basic technology idea of a chalk and a blackboard. And that is how we must look at, as Thomas Kuhn says, he's a wonderful book. He was a scientist. He wrote a book, Scientific Revolutions. Or Karl Popper, philosopher of science, who wrote How Discoveries Are Made. See, Thomas Kuhn is famously associated with this expression, paradigm shift. So what is a paradigm, how paradigms? Paradigm shift doesn't take place only technologically, it also takes place mentally. We make a paradigm shift from a particular way of looking at things, we move to another way of looking because we are empowered with technology, with our new thinking. That empowerment, universities are meant to empower you. Universities are primarily meant to empower you. And I should not use a word appreciate. I'm using a little stronger personal word for Professor Sambasibara. I love him. The way he threatens all the interviews, 2 projects every year, 2 publications. I am in his WhatsApp group. I don't know, he's very kind enough to put me. I have all the data, how many proposals have been submitted, how much money has come. But why I use this word, I love him, because officially I could have told I appreciate him. That sounds a little paternalistic. I am using a very personal term. I love him. For the reason that he has that passion. That even if the location is Mizoram, your road to airport is not good, and he is always constantly out traveling and all those things, he is empowering the faculty. Even if at that moment the faculty feels uneasy, but at the end, the faculty will benefit, thereby the department will benefit, thereby the students will benefit. And he continues with this. And the results are there to see. Some odd, more than 100 crore projects have been sanctioned. Look at this. And what data he is giving, he wants to beat some of the major universities in the country. Maybe they have not given that grade so far. Maybe Mizoram in a few years will get O grade. Okay. O is good. You will be happy with O? Now, I go back a little bit down the memory lane. See, it was a very interesting institution because I'm a bit personal here, apart from my friends and the support they had given me. Some vice chancellor who started with, they were also very nice people, including the present vice chancellor. Like Professor Sharma, A.K. Sharma. He was a faculty here, then he became a vice chancellor. He was very accessible. He was very accessible and very sensitive. And Professor Tuluanga. And Professor Tuluanga, on some easy days, will come, huddle to his room. And I still remember, I'm not going to share maybe I will share that joke with you. I never think you can associate Professor Tuluanga with a joke. That day we were sitting, there was a huge water crisis in Aizawl. And I learned something from him. I can't forget this joke. I am going to share this joke with you. Then somebody, with 3-4 of us, the round of teas goes on. Then he said, "Where is water crisis?" "There is no water crisis." "Oh, sir, there is no water, even we cannot wash our plate. Go for dry clean." I still remember that. Okay. Sir, what a dry clean? Because we associate clothes with dry clean. What association dry clean has a water scarcity? You don't know. Mizos have lived all through their generations through water scarcity. Therefore, they use this bamboo plate. You eat there, keep in the sun, in the evening, it is already dried and cleaned. Rub it up, then you can use that. I thought such a wonderful idea. Use material for nature, ecological, plastic, instead of plastic, use bamboo plates or banana leaves, put in the sun, because sun is in abundance in Mizoram. Water is scarce, but sun is there. Put it on the rooftop, it is dried, in the evening you put it. This is a new definition I learned from him about dry clean. That you clean a lot of things dry, not with water. And why I am saying this occasion actually has a relation with the dry clean, because you have to be imaginative. When there is no water, what are the other means to keep yourself clean, have your food, and you can go on. And that is what is called traditional wisdom. Tradition will never leave you, even if you want to leave tradition. Because at the moments of crisis, you will fall back on tradition. That is where it will stand by you. Therefore, we cannot forget tradition. I am again repeating, location is very important, from where this knowledge is being produced. Who is consuming it, you forget. All along our life, we have read books produced by foreigners or Westerners. Western has continued to dominate the knowledge domain, whereas Western is a theory, we are praxis. We are just data. All post-colonial countries are only data. We don't have the ability to theorize ourselves, let alone to produce universal theories for the West. Now that is the challenge. From our location, from our own cultural experience and our heritage, we need to produce the way we need to be theorized. I'm just giving two small examples. Actually, I was given 25 minutes. I have exceeded, but I think nobody will mind that. You see, this word head hunting, which was invented by the colonial anthropologist, copiously used by our social scientists, because that is the only expression used. There is no such word in any of the Naga languages. None of the vernacular languages have this. They have. This is called head taking. There is a huge difference between hunting and taking. Hunting is a cruel act. And this head taking is associated with the fertility cult. Therefore, it is a ritual act. It is purely a ritual act. When the interpretation moves in this way, the whole cultural meaning of that people or that group of people is totally changed. Like a Tlangmaina, we have not been able to define it. We need not define it. Because it is a set of concepts for good conduct, as they say, service before sacrifice. It's not like that. As far as I understand, Tlangmaina could be used in many contexts. It is a set of, wise saying need to be practiced in your daily life. Therefore, Tlangmaila, the essence of Tlangmaila, as I understand, is actually training how to be a good human being. I can look at it in that way. Not a kind of expression you translate it. You cannot translate it. Because they are culturally loaded concepts. Now, time has come. We need to bring in these new interpretations of meaning, because without cultural production of meaning, we cannot actually really create a discourse of the Mizos or the Nagas, something like that. We need to revisit our own sites of knowledge, or whoever has written it, and we need to interrogate and reproduce with a new meaning. And therefore, the world is meaningful only with the capacity of humans to produce meaning. We don't not only produce knowledge, one of the conditions of knowledge production is meaning production. And therefore, all your life should be meaningful. Whatever you do, whatever you study, make a meaningful intervention to that. I have said enough about this. Now I will come to some practical things that the Vice Chancellor has said. Yeah, all these things, the proposals that you have given, they are wonderful proposals. Actually, there are models. The language may be different, incubator or center. Communication Development Center. A communication development center could bring in people to train people, those who want to be trained 3 months, 4 months, something like that. You can have a laboratory, multilingual laboratory. It is not only German, French, you can have a Hindi, English, Mizo. See, you can have also training in Indian languages. And you can also have a pedagogic input, how to effectively teach Mizo students English. See, if you can start, I would request you, from my point of view, start one very enabling communication center, and you put all these ideas behind that. I think UGC may give you money to start a communication center, and within that, all these ideas can come, and there we can upgrade technology in communication research, technology in communication training, those things can be. And there's another thing, because Mizoram University has a lot of departments, like Hindi is also there, Mizo is there, literature is there, and maybe later on you may come up with the departments like fine arts, this thing, that thing, performing arts, you may come up. To actually help these kind of different things to happen, we may have, I'm just proposing, if you can have a humanities center, so that you don't need, actually UGC gets scared when you propose a department. Minimum 6 posts. If you have a center, you can pull the resources from other departments. And you can have some research scholars doing, other than the studies exclusively, interdisciplinary studies, getting some mentorship from the humanities center. Maybe some senior people, those who are not regular posts, you can bring those people. There are plenty of good people are there. Now, in that way, these 2 centers can immensely strengthen the humanities objective. See, and other things will continue. I thank my friends here, the students here, and many people, those who know me, and I hardly met them. I thank you all. I thank you, the Vice Chancellor, and Professor Tuanga, and I thank you very much. The Department of English also.
Thank you, Professor K.C. Burrell, founder, faculty of the department, and our guest of honor for today, for your speech. And now we shall have a moment for reflections down the years. Reflection down the years simply means that we will come here and share whatever memories we have of the department, and we may go back to yesteryears where we have started it and along the journey as well. So Professor Rp Vedera, the Pro Vice Chancellor, is here with us, and I would like to invite him to take the lead. And since we are a little bit short of time, let us try to limit ourselves within maybe 5 minutes or so. Yes, sir. I invite Professor Rp Vedera to take the lead. Let us welcome him with a clap.
To all of you, especially the dignitaries on the dais and the special invitees, especially our former colleagues who retired from this university, alumni, students, scholars, ladies and gentlemen. I will be completing, or I have already completed 34 years of my stay here in Mizoram. And department is 40-year-old or falling. It came 6 years before I landed here in Mizoram. Department was still in infancy or falling, but 34 years, I think I have been the witness how the department has grown. I'll give an example. Some of you already know it, or some of maybe the freshers, students, they may not know that that Rose Siama building there in Chandmari are following. We were two departments. They are up there, the owner, down there 2 floors, or probably 2-3 floors. 2 floor was there with the education department, and 1 floor maybe there with English department. Very congested kind of space from where we have been operating, following, and limited faculty, but a very, very committed faculty. Today you have seen my former speaker, Professor K.C. Bral, who is known all over Mizoram, are following because there are thousands of alumni are following, those who have come out of English department, and even there in Pachonga are following, okay. He was known are following. And today you have seen it. The department has grown very well because the founder were very, very, very strong. Professor Bral was there. Later on, he was joined by Professor Ganguly. Unfortunately, he is no more there. And Madam Zama, I think, is there from maybe almost from the beginning of the establishment of the department, are following. And starting from there and coming to this place, now we have adequate faculty, the right kind of infrastructure. Vision for future expansion has already been given by my former vice chancellor and Professor Boral are following. But let me tell you, friends, that my association with the department, especially with Madam Zama, are following interactions have been very deep, are falling off and on. We have been meeting, discussing, and that process is still on, are falling. And whenever are falling, we find that we need to discuss something which is serious, which need to be taken up, are falling. I think we do meet, we talk over, are falling this. But as far as the future possibilities are concerned, are falling, we say the greater deeds remains, are falling, yes, greater deeds will remain forever, are falling for all of us, are falling. There is nothing best in this world. There are always lots of possibilities for improvement, expansion, are falling. And the language, especially in this, Professor Boral was talking about the globalization, language is a vehicle, are falling, which has to facilitate that globalization process, its objectives, without which it may not be possible. And English is that vehicle, are falling, okay, for international level communication linkages, are falling. And India has been, are falling, the number of people who can speak English are falling, although we say it better than China, but it is still not very adequate. In terms of percentage, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5% of people are falling of the country may be speaking, may be able to. I think this need to be expanded, are falling, okay? And this department has been playing its role, are falling, have to work out some more strategies, are falling, so that maybe I think the kind of courses which are being proposed, I think that need to be taken. Even, let me tell you, sir, even this national policy on education, whether in 1986 or whether this 2019, that which is coming up soon, 3 things have been always very much emphasized: science, mathematics, and language are falling. Language is the vehicle, as I have said it, are falling. All kind of communication, whether science or technology, social sciences, anything are falling. Language is the vehicle. And in the globalized world, are falling, English has a much larger role to play. Therefore, the department has a big role. I congratulate Madam Zama, being the senior most faculty of the Department of English, for conceptualizing this particular program, are falling. Although other 2 departments, economics and education, also maybe they have not started thinking that they also have to do it. But I congratulate you that you have taken the lead. And as Professor Boral told, 2017 already program was planned and its date was fixed, are falling, okay. So I think the way you have organized, we have our former Pro-Vice Chancellor, first Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Talangloma, there with us, Professor Lianzela, Professor Thanchungunga Pupara, and then we have our former registrar, first registrar, also Pukonga with us, and there are lots of other very old alumni that I may not be able to are falling, remember their names are falling, many of the faces are quite familiar to me. And I are falling kudos to you are falling for organizing this function are falling. And I wish that this department grows, continues to grow for the time to come are falling. And our former Vice Chancellor Professor Tulwanga are falling, he is there with us. And my association as a worker under him from 90 to 2001 almost he was there, our Vice Chancellor are falling that 11 years. One thing I will tell you are falling about him, what his support to academics and his policy of non-intervention are falling in academics are falling, okay. A sport, let me tell you, 97 are falling. Things were not as good as they are today. 96 new pay commission report had come, and there was a recommendation on student evaluation of teachers in that particular report. And I wanted to do little work on that. And I went to him. I hope he remembers. I requested him, sir, you as a Vice Chancellor might have a copy of that. Are falling. There was no Google and all this kind of things. Possibilities were not there. Personally went to him, requested him, got the copy. Then I also asked him that, sir, I will need a little more support from the office because I have to print out some questionnaires, I have to do some field work. And he extended me the support, and I could publish 4 papers on student evaluation of teachers are falling. It was his support are falling, okay. Thank you so much, sir, for his support. And thanks all of you are falling. I once again congratulate the Department of English.
Yes, thank you, sir. And Professor Lianzela at the lectern.
Being the first faculty of the campus, so let me be more aggressive. Anyway, guest of honor, as well as the chief guest first and guest of honor, and those people who are in the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really a privilege for me to stand before you. And first of all, let me congratulate the English department for attaining these 40 years of their existence with a small beginning. They have grown to that level. So big congratulations for this Jubilee. Okay, I have so many things to share, but anyway, since time is very short, let me reflect only those of the challenges that confronted us in the initial years. Okay, Nehu Mizoram campus was opened in 1979, we know very well, and with 3 departments, English, economics, and education. Those days, we had only one LDC. We share one LDC, Moi. Pimoy. Could you please stand up, Moi? Oh, she is there, yeah. And then we share one LDC, the 3 departments share, and then the first librarian, PCME. Okay, please. Okay. And the campus is headed by OSD, Officer on Special Duty, Professor Darchona. Okay, today he could not come. And like we are all in rented buildings. Okay, and you know, as Pu Baral has already mentioned, I just wanted to reflect those of the problems that confronted us. Okay. Mizoram was at that time a disturbed area. Since 1966, insurgency broke out, and then Mizoram was declared as disturbed area. So during that time, till 1986, frequently curfews have been imposed, and also quit Mizoram for non-Mizos, and also non-Mizos, you have to stay inside. You are not supposed to go out. So that sort of orders, it used to come quite often. So those of the Mizo colleagues, we have to serve our non-Mizo friends, like we call them. Do you need to do marketing, shopping, this? Okay. So that was one of the big problems that we faced. And Pu Baral his own problem in getting help from some colleges. That was not at all easy. Anyway, he was fortunate. After some time, Pimegi, Pisangdeli, and Piramtei used to come and help him. But many of our friends in colleges, they didn't want to come and help us because they are scared of teaching PG students. Okay, getting faculty, okay, as a guest lecturer also was a tremendous problem. And also getting the students, because in those days, no college here in Mizoram did teach honors course in English. Of course, economics, we are fortunate. We had economics honors in Pachunga, and education they didn't have. Only they opened MEd here, okay? So that was there. Getting the faculty, I mean, guest faculty and regular teacher, that was really difficult. And getting students also. Here, the course was a full-time course, and we have to insist 75% attendance. And internal assessment, which was very, very new to me. I did my PG there in Guwahati. We never had any semester system, internal assessment system. So, so many things are new to us. Plus, getting students, getting help from like colleges, okay. And then another was we were overloaded with our teaching assignment, as Pubaral had mentioned. We cannot think of doing our own further studies, doing our research and this thing. In addition to that, we have to represent Nehu in various college governing bodies. Okay, we need to travel to Saiha, we need to travel to Champai to attend their governing board member because we represented Nehu, yes. And moreover, we were externally controlled in the sense that Shillong was a regular campus. So everything was dictated, everything was controlled. In times of exam, questions were set from outside, evaluated by outsiders and this thing. So things are like too complicated for us. And whenever we kind of like make suggestions also, they hardly pay any attention to us. I mean, to be very frank. But we have survived that situation. Today, I would just like mention especially Pimegi's name, because to make our non-Mizo friends to feel at home and to make them comfortable. When she joined in 1982, after that, she used to host lots of dinner for our colleagues from outside. There in Sarunveng, their own residence, and also in Chaltlang. And sometimes we need to rush down to Luangmol also, like to taste a special dish of Bengali prepared by Pugosh, and then Pubaral also. Okay, that was the time that we kind of had a very good atmosphere of working together, congenial atmosphere, but at the same time, the problems we have to confront are various and many, but we have overcome. And above all, we were really fortunate, like the result used to be very good in English and in economics and also in MEd. So let me stop here because if I take too long time, then others will also want to share. So long live English department, long live Mizoram University. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'll just cut right in because we're running a little short of time. But I'm sure that we have enough time after lunch and in the afternoon program as well. At 1 p.m. we have Across the Years, and 3 p.m. we have Down the Memory Lane, where we can all share such kinds of memories, and which is very, very pleasing to hear also. And now we will call upon Dr. Larindigiti Fanai, Associate Professor, Department of English, for a word of thanks.
At this point of time, I wish I had enough time to propose a long vote of thanks, but since due to the paucity of time, I'll make my vote of thanks brief. Now, first of all, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, the Vice Chancellor of Mizoram University, Professor KRS Simbasif Varao, for gracing this inaugural function. And sir, we know that you have an important meeting and that you have also postponed the time, and we are grateful to you for that. And I would also like to thank Professor K.C. Burrell, the guest of honor, for coming all the way from Hyderabad to be with us in our celebration. Now, Professor K.C. Burrell, as we all know, we have repeatedly heard that he's the founder faculty of this department, and he has at some point of time referred to us as friends, as very close friends. We are his friends, and also we consider him a member of the family of Department of English. And Professor K.C. Burrell, ito nga, kanlom lutuk, ani. And also our thanks to the Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Vedera, for his presence here, and also our finance officer, the controller of examiners, and the registrar and the librarian. We thank you all for being with us today, and our dean, beloved dean of the School of Education and Humanities. And I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our invitees. I just want to mention their names here because I think it's important. Although I have a story behind each one of them to say, I would not do that, but just mention their name. Our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Arlton Kloanga, and Professor Lianzela, Professor Thangchung Nunga, Professor Vungtea, and also Professor Tlang Loma, and those who have responded to our invitation positively and making a time to come and attend the celebration. We are really, really grateful to you, and also to our former register, Pu Lom Kunga. And we are also grateful to our inviters of the eminent citizens and writers who are with us today, and also members of the Munsa, Mitsuta, the Students' Council, and our colleagues from other departments who are with us today to celebrate with us, and we are grateful to you all. And then I would also like to express our gratitude to the members of the alumni, students, scholars, supporting staff, and our students in the department, and also to the PR cell of Mizoram University for helping us with the publicity. And I would also take the opportunity to thank all those who have financially contributed towards the Rp Jubilee. We have not extended begging bowls, but we have humbly requested our close associates if they could help us financially for the expenditure of the celebration. And they have responded very positively, and thank you all. And lastly, and not but the least, I would like to congratulate our department, and I would say hats off to English department. We have been planning, we have been raising funds, we have been contributing for the celebration, and the teamwork has been excellent. And I'm grateful. I must mention this. And I'm really, as member of the faculty member, I'm really grateful for that also. And I wish the best for the English department, my department, and long live English department. May it strive, may it continue to strive for excellence and professionalism. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Larindiki Fanai, Associate Professor, Department of English. With that, we have come to the most exciting time of today. I must say that is the photo session. So we will go outside for a group photo session. But before that, let me just give a few highlights of what we will do next. After the photo session, we will have the beating of the Jubilee gong. Jubilee dar wak na hun kan manganga, and this will be followed by the cake cutting. And then after that, we will have a short tea break, which will be followed by Across the Years, where we will have to come together here in this room again. And so to proceed with the next one, we will all stand up and go because everyone should fit in the group photo. So I think the students have arranged the seats over there, and as we go out, they will just arrange us. So we will take, let's all go out, shall we? Yes. This session is called the Across the Years. It's Across the Years. We can say anything about what we have experienced within the department, and for the older people, you can share us your memories then, and also you can share your memories with your friends or the department, whatever comes into your mind. So I think we can come up to the lectern over here. Research scholar te pokan oma in classroom lawin soitai datin zirlai te poka zirlai mek te poka in ashare te vekani. And I'm sure we still have a lot of invitees over here who are sitting with us. So the lectern is open for anyone who would like to share. I don't know anyone to call upon to take the lead, so it's just open. Yes? Sir, perhaps?
Kehi zooming liana, Governor Not College, English Department tuna, Head of Department na Mekania, MZU kan zirhun lai kansun nehun wailania, 83 to 85 beds, America kan nia, kan luito view maya, kan tilaya lapiang lo ha tam taki inni to karinga. Hey, Pubaralate, Pimagite, Piramte, Hoka, Minsitir to Ania. To know my can zip do memory and refresh the non-sim here. Pubarala here, Tanem Guide, my hand min Hanzirtira. House for Mr. Bishwas, Ha Minzirtira. Country and Pakatson, when he Pubishwas local lomi. So a nickname can lopea. Bishwas kan lo tieni khang lai hun te kha ngai to leta lunga tileng hle maya department ta khan seat somni kha alot kan nia Mizoram Mizoram campus khan amara chu somni khan somni po kan tlingai manglawan china soitong khan admission te harsa amara chu kemni batch kha mi som le pathum vel kha kan han nia atira chun somni deu thoka kan ni tho som pakwa mar kan nia ta khan drop out han om zeu zewa nadang thok chunga zir te kha kan ni hlama khang khan department hum economics department le education department kan la nia PG sports meet kan ni te khan kami department hum kalkhom kan ni maya thil ro pui takhati la har hle maya tun borok ten han ngai to chuan hi aro pui em to tuna chuan khang hun lai borok te takte han ti la ke mani kha chu kan feel dan chu kan lian thawa amara chu missing kan la tlema kan happy moi te ho nen khan han te ho rai khan ya ลุงเล่นทักกเตียเวนเนี่ยเห็นข้างข้าหันเสียริมก็ตัวพี่แมกี้แหละพี่รำตีแหละผู้บารอละอันเนี้ยพี่แมกี้เห็นสันเนมง่ายเด็กไม่เห็นเห็นสิทธิรวมไม่ทีนะยังไงทากเราฮีไอ้ทุสนมทีนะพี่รำตีค่ะอันนี้ค่ะสิทธินะเทียมคบไหมเอายมเล่ไหมโบราณตัวฮีกันง่ายทีเล่ไหมหันไงตัวเล็กจังเฮียนลุงติเล่นทีเล่ไหมติค่ะกันสวยเวอันนี้หรอไหม
Hello, Mome. Tikan ding zel ta ila intlashung laula tu kan soy kan, it could be in English, it could be in Mizo. Apa nini kan comfortable na kanin kan mga nga apoy mi alawan niya intlashung law ila tu na kanin ka 83 to 85. 83 to 85 batch niya. Katalapyang law zong ka hanban parlok tiang. Kaipo katel. Subang chuanin kan department voina Rp Jubilee kan lom chan ro pui zia tilang tu na khana rondinga alomom khop mai ole we will open the lectern for anyone in classroom lawin ron soi zero heta oh yes
Hello everyone. You must be a little bit surprised to see me. I'll just introduce myself. My name is Rosemary Zama. I'm the daughter of Professor Margaret Zama out here. First and foremost, I just want to say I'm very thankful that I am actually able to come and attend this function on behalf of my whole family. It would have been wonderful if my father was able to come here also, but because of other engagement, he's not able, and I apologize on his behalf. Okay, you must be surprised that, I didn't come prepared with a speech or anything in particular, so whatever I'm going to say is very impromptu, so please understand if it kind of gets jumbled up or something like that. But sitting out there, I just felt the need to come up here and say something, because as a daughter, I feel very, very proud and nostalgic, and a lot of things was going through my mind. Seeing Pubarel here, my mom, and of course Piramtei, who was a very important part and a person who is very prominent in our childhood memory. As children, we had the best of education, I can say. My mom and my dad tried their best. In those days, it was difficult to get good, what you would say, good English-based education here in Mizoram. So they did everything they can to send us down to Shillong. So those days, Shillong was the place to go for education. But now, students are going elsewhere. But what I've seen now is here in Mizoram itself, we have the very best, and people are coming from outside also. And when I look at this, it has a lot to do with the fact that over the years, university is obviously higher education, but then it also has a lot to do with media and so on and so forth. But also what I see is that among our youth, so much of confidence, those kind of things, because when, in my 7th grade, when I came back to Aizawl, because we grew up outside Aizawl, so to say, our Mizo, so to say, was very bad. I would speak half in Mizo and I would speak half in English, and students in school used to call me Zo Sap, Kanzo Sap no, and like that kind of thing. I used to feel a little bit bad about it, and I used to feel awkward not to speak in English, those kind of problems I used to have in school. I just want to highlight these things. But it's not like that anymore. What I've noticed is that when you go out in the streets now in Aizawl, young students, even school-going students, not to talk about college-going students, you all are speaking very openly in English, and you all are conversing in not only English, even in, let's say, I've even come across students who are speaking in Hindi, like, not proper Hindi, but like broken Hindi. Those kind of confidence that you all are showing, I'm really, really, really happy. You all must be looking at me and wondering, okay, she looks like more or less like our age. I'm not your age. I'm way elder than you guys. So I'm just saying, when I say I'm proud and happy, I am really proud and happy, and please keep this confidence. Now, coming to the point of what I'm trying to say as why I'm standing here is that I remember many years back when I was studying in Blue Mount School. That was when I was doing my nursery. That was in 1985. I was in class nursery in 1985. So many of you weren't born that time. My mother's peon used to come to pick me up from school during my lunch break, and then Piramtei would sit down and do my homework with me in their department. That was in Tanmari those days. Then after that, they shifted from one building to the other, this and that. Then I remember when the Department of English shifted down to the new building out here. That day also, you know, with all the big parcels and books and stuff like that, we came and cleaned the place and helped to shift in your department. So was very much part of that day also, and it was a very, what would you say, auspicious day. I recall that day also. And again here, 40 years afterwards, still here. And then I think most of you must be aware that my mother will be retiring next year, April. So that kind of is very, I don't have the words to express how I'm feeling right now. I wouldn't even want to imagine what my mother must be feeling right now, or Pubarel, or many of the staffs who are here. To conclude what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying is not making a lot of sense, but what I want to say is that to you young students who are here, you are the future. Definitely, everyone must be telling you that you are the future. Education is important, but above and beyond that, what is more important is that to be true to yourself. True to yourself, when I say true to yourself, it's not just education. Don't be afraid to stand up for what you feel inside is right. Education, anyone can get education. But above and beyond that, when you feel something is wrong, don't be afraid to speak out. Nowadays, I feel that people just talk, you know. In media, you get a lot of these, in WhatsApp or whatever, you get lots of forwards every now and then, people giving long speech or giving their opinion. But action always speaks louder than words, I feel, at the end of the day. So it's not just the education that you have in one side, you have to put it in action. And that's when the education you receive will have real value. And that is all I want to say. And I wish the English department a really bright future. And I hope each and every one of you will have, I don't know, a very, especially the department will have a whole lot of other events and important things way ahead of you, and many of you will come back and be faculty in this department. And thank you so much for this, for inviting all of us, I mean outsiders, so to say, to attend this beautiful function. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes. Anuam zele in chashung lovin soi zela ngo angai nom boxia. Self-introduction, please. Yes.
I thought I'll not stand up, but Rosemary, because of Rosemary, I'm standing here. My name is Dr. Sarojilal Dinpui, and I'm working in Government Aizonaut College. And today, there are 6 of us in the college. 4 of us are here. I just want to introduce them. Our head of department, Puzo Minga, he spoke before. Okay, he's our head of department. And Somkima, I'm sorry. Yesterday, he just finished his viva. And Dr. Ramdin Thari. Okay, here. So 4 of us are here today. We are very happy to be here. And I thought I'll not stand, but Pubaral is here, Pimagi is here. They are my teachers. I was 1990 batch. Okay, 1990 batch. And Wadiki is also here. She was not there But afterwards, she was one of my backbone. See, what I want to say is the English department is like a family, just like what Rosemary said. It's P. Maggie's family, the English department. Mizotongin kan tunzo mga heta, P. Margareti Amboka. English department he kan soido so close-knit ania. Tin research te kan hantivea. Katian no mai say Johnson kiana oma. Ani po kanin, ingat tinggal le Peter kayang ni tihan kan lauti reng le tia katyang kan research boy thak zia tu kan share amaro tu tuna students teka I want you to go on. It's not easy. The steps are not easy. Ka kan so the first time when I wanted to do my research, Ramti, I chose Ramti as my guide. Both of us, with the help of Professor Ganguly, he's not here anymore, we wrote the synopsis, everything. And P. Maggie, she presented my synopsis in Nehu. At the time, we were under Nehu. And it was accepted, but somehow, Ganguly went away to Tura, and then, we couldn't continue. And after that, I started it again. See, it was my second time. And Pubaral was there. He was the one who chose the topic for me, the city novel. And they gave me a guide. That guide also, Professor Biswas, now he's in Dipu. He's a vice chancellor now. He went away, and then I was put under Professor Margaret Zama. And after some, I used to go down to Pubaral while he was in Shillong, in a flu. So it was very difficult. But see, now I want you to go ahead. See, you will face lots of, just like what Rosemary said, you are going to face lots of problems. And I want to thank Pubaral and P. Maggie also for, making it possible for me to finish my PhD. When we did the editing, I went to P. Maggie's house every day in the evening. Sometimes I have food in their house. The whole family was supporting me. See, I used to be there. Sometimes we stayed up till 10 at night editing the thesis and all that, okay? So I feel that today I just have to mention those, okay? And in 1989, 90, I was a student. Piramte was there, Professor Ganguly was there, and Mrs. Chanchal Naik, Professor Baral's wife was there also. And Pupu Ganguly's wife was there also, and P. Maggie. And there were just 3 of us. There were 4 of us at the beginning. Pekka was there, and Felix, now he's in Aleppi. He's working in class 12 higher secondary school as an English teacher. He's got married, he's got kids also. For professors, he has 2 kids. And my husband was there. 3 of us, we finished MA, and now it was under them that we could finish it. We were, sometimes they scold us, we were very lazy, and then lots of problems was there. Okay, so today I feel that I just have to mention those, those years back, long years back. Some of me may not be born at that time, in 1990. So today I want to thank my teachers with all my heart, the struggles they have gone through, they have helped me through. And Professor Margaret was also very helpful during our course time. And Wadiki, she's a family, family friend. She's known me since I was in high school. She'll scold me when she wants, when she feels that I need scolding. Okay, she scolds everybody, according to Baral. Okay, so I just feel that I have to thank my teachers, all the faculties here, and we, from the college, we are happy to be here. We really enjoyed it a lot. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Saroj. We'll still open the lectern for anyone. Anong lama te po kan kanomin ka siya? Oh. Dr. Ramsiami. All. Itel lo chuan a kim lo an ti ni. Kun begin lo lo mang.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations to English Department for achieving 40 years. You know, we had so many things to say, but then there's no time. I just asked Pimoi, the first LDC, to say something. You know, just before Rosemary stood up, she whispered to me, Siami, do you remember that we used to be nannies for P. Maggie's daughter while she was taking class? And I said, Rosemary. And just after that, she stood up. You know, she used to bring Rosemary. She was a very small girl at that time. So anyway, the first thing I want to say is that Mizoram campus was a very beautiful place, very beautiful. So beautiful that I don't think other universities had experienced that kind of, you know, good relationship. When I joined, I just finished my PU Science and then then I joined college and went for that certificate course in library science in Shillong. Right after I finished, then that post came, but I joined, and then I continued studying. And that time when I joined, there were only 5 teachers, regular teachers, like from economics, Pulianzela and Pugos, and from English, Pu Baral, and from education, Pu Sudhir and Pu Gupta. And then 1 LDC, Pimoi, and 1 peon, Bilal Swanoma. He's still working here, and he's serving in NSSL. So, you know, there was age difference, status difference, communities also, and then our backgrounds, everything. But even then, we managed to be very close, like a family. That was very beautiful. And we, the lower ranks, even forgot what we were, you know. So everybody was equal. We were equal with students also. So we used to have lots of picnics also. And I regret today, this morning, I regret something, that why didn't I give P. Maggie some of those old photos where English department students and teachers and library staff, MOI, we had a picnic. And I still have those pictures where myself, P. Maggie, Piramtei, were dancing, you know, in Bung Bungalow. So, every time English department had a picnic or some gathering, they will invite us, Moi and I. And you know, those days there were 2 golden girls, Moi and Siami, you know. So it was the hub of the university campus. So every second Saturday we had a holiday. But the students and teachers miss us so much that they said, without Moi and Siami, campus is empty. So come and do your work on second Saturdays also. So we used to come all those Saturdays also happily. And those days there was no entertainment, only Zaudin Cinema Hall and some new restaurants opening up. One thing I want to mention is that once, in those days, working hours was up to 4 because we had to attend on Saturday. And if we left a bit early, we could catch the last show. And whenever there was a note sent to Zaudin Cinema Hall signed Moi and Siami, they will reserve all the tickets as if we were VIPs. So one afternoon, myself, Moi, Pu Baral, Pugos, and Pulianzela went for a movie. And then the highest authority, OSD, came to visit us, and there was no one. And the next morning, we heard that he was sending Puzadol as the superintendent to scold us. And then we cook up something to justify our absence. And then I said, I'm not good in lying, so Moi would better say this thing. And Moi said, I'm not good in lying also. But we forced her. Then we saw Puzadola coming through our windows. And then we told Moi, please say this thing. We went out to DC office to make to renew ration card for Pu Baral and Pu Gos. And then Pu Zadola entered. As soon as he entered, he said, "Where were you yesterday afternoon?" And Moi, we readied her to lie about it. Moi readily said, "We went to the movies." And then we were sure that he would scold us because OSD sent him. But then he said, why did you go without me? Let's go together. So, whenever there is some new restaurant coming up, we'll go there and enjoy. But the best thing was that, just now also outside, Moya and I talk about it. The people who first joined are very important. So, the department also grows according to their personalities, their goodness. So Puzela first joined as a teacher. He was so good that everyone was, he welcomed them with open arms. He made friends with everyone. And all of us, the next ones, Pu Baral, Pu Gos, everyone was good. So, the campus became a very happy place. And we grew up, we grew like anything. So Pu Baral also, I thought he had seen the library, but just now he told me, where is the library? He should have seen it. Somebody bring him there, okay, tomorrow. Because at that time, the library was a small partition, 6 feet wide, 12 feet long, with 4 wooden almirahs. Okay, so it had grown like anything. And I want you to remember that wherever we join work, some work, let's have a good heart. Let's try to do our very best. Then we'll have a very happy life and sweet memories. I wish the Department of English the very best for the future.
Thank you, Dr. Ramsiami. I think Pimoy should come up here. Pimoy đâu chọc rồi xe, đủ. I request về tất sẽ chú bằng cho. Đủ lâu mà, cần ngay đâm mày ang. Anyone? Cần là soi dễ thế. Hết ta pumas kia tên soi đó nè. Không cần về là, anh ấy chú, bãi rèn. Cần cầu xoa là cứ bé cái lâu lâu bằng.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here because I've been associated with the department for such a long time. I was a student, and for 5 years, I was a member of the faculty. And now I'm back as a student here again. So it's quite an experience for me also. I was 1991, 93 batch. And after I finished my master's degree, I joined the department as a faculty member. Before I continue, my real name is Malsom Kima, though my friends call me Maski. Once when I visited a friend at a Durtlang hospital, since my friends call me Maski, just as I left the cabin, one of the visitors commented, I thought Maski was a Gorkhali, but he could really speak well in Mizo. Anyway, coming back to the present situation, there were such wonderful memories. In my time, that is, during the MA years, even though the seat allotted was 20 in number, our batch was about four or five students only. So there was no great rush or no great demand for English MA students. And admission was quite easy. In fact, if I remember correctly, the faculty members seem to have looked for new admissions. But now it's a complete turnabout. During my student days, as the RSE mentioned, there was a good relationship between the students, the faculty members, and the staffs, as well as with the other departments, especially with the library, because during those Nehu days, the building was in Chanmari, near the Chanmari Presbyterian Church. And if I remember correctly, the building still stands there, and it was Pura Uzinga's building. And the English department was next to the library. So whenever we have free time, we will go to the library and have a chat with the staff member. And as PMCME mentioned, we used to have a picnic together with the library. And I also still have the picnic photos also with me, which I treasure very much. And I remember having a dinner on the banks of River Tlong with the dinner spread out with this Changel Na. And we had such a wonderful time. And before our time also, I remember a story about the department picnic. There was a former student, Grace Kelly, isn't it? Grace Kelly, yeah. And her husband was in the Air Force. And while they were having a picnic, her husband was a pilot. And in order to greet her, her husband, while driving the helicopter, hovered above the picnic spot, and the sand got dispersed, and all the dinner was spoiled. That's what that was such a sweet and wonderful moment. And after I finished my MA, as I mentioned, I joined the department as a faculty member, and I had such a wonderful experience. And our present head of department, Professor Margaret, used to be my roommate, and we had such a good rapport. And I used to call her a Marxist because she finished her PhD degree from ZNU, and you all know about ZNU and about the politics that is involved there. I used to call her a Marxist, but in a way it's kind of ironic that now my PhD research is also a part of, is somehow connected with Marxism. So during my involvement in the department, both as a student, as a faculty member also, I learned quite a lot. And for a brief moment, I even took charge of the department because all the rest of the faculty members were on leave. And I still treasure that letter, that official letter in which I was handed the charge of the department. It was a great moment for me. And while working there, I got a permanent job in Government Aizawl North College. But even working there, I still consider myself as a part of this department because I am a product of this department. And as I mentioned, I am deeply grateful to all the faculty members. And you know, during the holidays also, I used to go and visit Professor Margaret Zama's home. And whenever there is any special occasion in her family also, I would be invited. So in a way, outside the campus also, whenever Professor Margaret Zama is mentioned, people would specially mention of her in front of me. But deep inside, sometimes I really feel like calling her mother because she's such a mentor for me and she has such a huge impact on my life. And I'm deeply grateful to her. And at the same time also, I'm deeply grateful to the rest of the faculty members and especially my guide, my supervisor, Dr. Lalvin D. Fan Hai. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pumaski. And I think now we can have that break, that lunch. And after that, we'll come together for down memory lane. That is at 3 p.m. Let us note the time. Hemi mahian group photo kan lale look anga kan lockdown order hilo sheta ila po na kan arsha se kan in chut na min lo rem le mai se faculty in group photo faculty only kan an la photanga ti chuan an ni chu chut son ngai to lowin an chus an thu char charanga ti chuan heng hian kan belzel don ni. The second will be the faculty members and Professor Casey Barrel, and then the third one faculty and erstwhile supporting staffs, and 4 faculty and alumni, and 5th hian research scholars. Then kan lakpui lenga 6 first semester students, 7th hian third semester students. Sanyanga pariat na hian tuna present supporting staffs de kan LDC le MTS de khanin an lakpui don ni chumi order chuan kanei puar to boka hadam takin hall chunga hianin voina tana kan hununung bertur down memory lane kan nei lenga khongain lo lut zelula achunga hianin chutna hanuam lo lut zel ro shina chuanin he gan chule chap me athuai chin kan nomani mo. Okay, we shall start with the last session for today. This is titled Down Memory Lane. Down Memory Lane, it's on lung len thak ngal rui meya ashat ngal meya. It is as the title implies. So we will once again open the lectern for anyone who would like to share their memories and anyone who would like to take us down to their memory lane. So the lectern is open. And before that, wait, naktu ka kan program tour here. Let us hear tomorrow's program. We will start at 11 a.m. here again. And we will have solo performances from Nui Changte, Silarin Zwala Amtea, Michelle Lalropui, MA 3rd semester. Titsuan Natuga Hiani, we are going to hear readings from the alumni and research scholars of the department. This is going to be an excited one, so you don't want to miss it, so you have to be there to listen to it. So please come tomorrow again. Yesterday, once more, the 12:50 akan nailenga. And tomorrow, after lunch, we will have the prize distribution for poetry, short story, and musicals. And we will close the program with the valedictory speech from the head of department. That is the program for tomorrow. So I invite each and every one of you to come again tomorrow at 11. Now we will start our program again, down memory lane. And the lectern is open for everyone. In Khashung Lawila, if you want to speak in English, and Mizo, Hindi po ni se, apoy kan tilawang kan hongzawang. Okay, zirlai te changkala pik takin soiturin na ingaringa. This includes the first semesters and the third semester. This is your moment, okay? Tu ma imin lu sak don lo, kay mani moment niya tu vang tuani in khashung niya lawin heta han in dudu ka in ron soidon niya. Okay, the lectern is open for everyone. Kan par donya local to pula chon self introduction te kan neyanga. Yes, anyone? Yes. And we would love to hear your self-introduction first.
I'm Janet, and I'm standing here representing the class of 2018. Although my classmates are still here, some of them, but no one's willing to actually stand here. So I didn't really prepare anything as such, but what I would like to thank all of our teachers, especially, we had the Vibrio and the runway showdown, and things were tough for us back then, and we didn't have any funds. And it was our seniors used to tell us that we never usually ask our teachers for money for all these things, and so we were quite reluctant to ask our teachers back in the day, but we had no choice. So we approached them, and they were very willing to help us in that regard, and we had jumble sale and everything. Even Sir DNJ, he sent us one big polythene bag of his old clothes, and so we still remember them very fondly because I will say this in Mizo, especially Miss. When we first started our MA here, what they used to tell us was that there are 3 tigers in the university, and one is the librarian. I'm going to spill all the beans here. And the other 2, the English department have them. So So we were, how do I say? Both of the Margarets were the other two tigers, if you weren't aware. But and then, but Kanswa Khan, we had very fond memories, and we didn't have any clash with the teachers as they warned us, and so we were lucky in that regard. And Kanswa no po Khan kan han soi china ingma boy na kan nelo kan tia. So Miss Choza mate an upot tola minsangain van ni kan lati sham zel. So those were some of the memories, and so for all kan lo kan eme kan lai te kan an thiam na te tokin kan lo glean lo kha tu no hang kan in cheer thai le china to van chan to he class of 2018 alare lo na to I o adjective to te chunga kan lom thu soina ni ro se kalome.
Ms. J, speaking for class of 2018, thank you. The tiger is very protective of its baby, and we are the babies of the English department, and very fortunate that we have them with us, right? Okay, we are still opening the lectern for anyone. Yes, please come up. Abe changzong po kana chakho may tunan wanti dan ka midang kan omem. Batch representative anga kanti te ka. Anyone? Tuna zirlai mek te po ka thenya. Yes, Miss Somte and local Tsungin. You can get this book. This is called Wild Hearts. You can get this, order this from Amazon, Flipkart, and what was that one? Shop Goods. Okay, yeah, you can get that online, and she is the author of this poetry. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lema Somiralte, and my supervisor Pubaral calls me the oldest lady in the department because I joined this department in 2007, and I submitted my thesis this year. So that's been the nickname that he has given me. So I'm very happy to stand before you, being the oldest lady in the department. 2007 to 2009. We still have our WhatsApp group. We call the group that we call Sisterhood, and our juniors and our seniors, they know us as the tightest group.
Yes, Dustin. Okay, let us clap for Dustin.
My name is Dustin. We were class of 2015, I think, if I'm not wrong. So what I remember, the only thing that I remember are those lectures, actually. No, see, there was a seminar in PUC, I think it was last year, I think. Professor Margaret Zama was the speaker there, and I already said this in that seminar. One day, I heard one lecture from Professor Zama. It was really a strange one, actually. We were learning one drama. I forgot the name of the drama. Achang dupa in huiski helaya achuarami aron latsuagan hivelan soitiam ziazu. Zuka kachak tatlat that was the impression, actually. I don't know whether it's good or bad. But, dance like a man. Apu ina aron hoa ha lutu aramva garon ho anupu ina zu alo thor thum maya inti dana soi phei hi chuan rangva mo na kan thak mai te ka cha kom lek china chu ti khop chuan thu soi ka thiam china ni. And one thing I also remember is Professor Baral, the one and only Professor Baral, and he's also like a father. It was really interesting. His class was really interesting because we can do anything. That was the best part, actually. We used to go out and, like, sometimes we went to the canteen and bought something. So kan lud le aso ingai le kan deconstruction is a little thinta. But that was the most interesting part. Achang jo missing the hand stress tukti ha dam na turin thil kan mo china dam do yeron chuana chan de po kan na chok turin ne chu wa jo kan department ta nian pu baral he dam do ni na lai ni khalai kha chuanin professor kan HOD Professor Margaret L Pacho ka chuang khop mai ka ngai san thui ka sil na sa to ni ma poi a oi du lo thina hey script sa movie gan siam to sa narrator thiam lu tukin ron cheer per once upon a time ron tiang deu khan Heartless was like that eng ma gap ko ma lovin ati par thai mai ni sap trong po thiam hela hi ron hi chau mer a ri ti po ni se sap trong una soi the ka ngai sa na ni her delivery was really good and I really love it. I really love Heartless. Chuan maro chu kan class kan pui ni ke ni ho kha pui takan ni mi chi sang kha kan tam kho mai. There was one boy, his name is Sebastian. Ma se kha a document a Sebastian kha lo tel mi lo mi lo bu ma Sebastian kha lo inte Sebastian ti chara. One day he thought of asking something to Professor Zama. Aru ma lu dong khan anda kang he pi avati lun maya ni chine thu soi ka the hi de maya o ka chua do hang ka soi reng lo ma te ngai tha lo a tong lai reng te khan ron chuak le vela tiang vel te kha kan ne ma ro chu min dom kang thiam maya. I was a CR back then. CR kha kan ya semester tin de utho ka attendance a khan kat lat lek reng maya voi ni voi thum vel ka chu kat la ing ka sia amaro chu leave letter ne kan in te kan in thiam zel thini chulai chu ni china kan soi tong khan drama comic relief omang thin khan min se thiam chho zel helai din huni kan thlengani ani na taka chuan ke ni ang mitling lo ti mai te ang classical thape lo punctual lo pokhan na sa takin min shape ba chuan thil pakhat soi ga du chu Miss Christina a omme ka shelawa a chu han lom thu soi ga duwa I think it was in third semester. I thought of dropping out. I was staying in the hostel, at the B.Ed hostel, and like everything was masala there. Everything was like masala. The water was not good. We don't have proper meal also. Ashe omga tini, chung te heta kan e boxi lawa. Ashe omga tiru tu ka drop out ka tuma. Kan mentor khana Miss Christina aruma ka fakala. Athu soi kala shareng. Tundin mun engkan ni gati lawa tuna he ma se min suai thleng tu chu that one sentence khani asoi dan chuan it's a part of life, Justin. You don't have a sunshine without the rain atini, but that completely changed my life. Chuan achunga po voina hen lom thu soi ga duwa in thu soi hi kan ngai thalo mo ti yang kan ngai thareng china tun thleng hian kan ngai thasina kan vong reng china amaro chu soi solin lo nei ni pon kha te po ha kan setel ve tho ania. Thank you.
Now we all know why students, ex-students like the one who spoke before me, I hope, I'm sure a number of you all have seen him on TV and things like that. He is so good at commentary, shall we put it like that. Actually, we are proud, because we have produced students who have kind of branched out into all walks. Like you have BD here, we have Dustin, we have people who sing, we have people who are now, in the services and who are teaching at all levels. I think the Department of English, I didn't want to speak too much in the morning because we were running out of time. But we are really proud, and every new batch we look forward to what y'all will be. Like it has already been indicated, in a way we are like your foster parents, you know, because you do have your parents, your grandparents. So we are like the ones who are fostering y'all for the better part of your life for 2 years. You'll see us perhaps more than you'll see your own parents, because you'll are here most of the day. And we always start thinking, whenever we have new applicants, every July we say, this one will do well, perhaps this one or that one will move on for research, this one might be good for the administrative service, this one might be good in the entertainment field, and so on, you know. We dream of your future, we dream a future for y'all also, and we are really proud because it has turned out through the years that our students have not failed us in whatever y'all have moved on, and I'm speaking, you know, on behalf, in a way, of students right from the early days till today, and for those of y'all who are with us today and who will be with us, you know, in the next few years. Y'all will make something of yourselves. The very fact that y'all can actually come from Aizawl town, which is that many kilometers away, make your way into this campus. And those of y'all coming from the rural areas outside Aizawl, staying in the hostels, we know what the conditions are like in hostels, food, this, that, nothing is ideal. But the very fact that y'all stick it out, we know that y'all will make something of yourselves. Never mind if one day, you know, you may not turn out to be a big officer, or you may not turn out to be somebody famous. But whether you're an entrepreneur or keeping a little shop, or, you know, teaching in primary or in a private school or in college or at the university here or doing research, we know that y'all will be good people. All our students, I don't think I'm wrong when I say that we have never had through the years, and you know we are 40 years today, none of our students, past and present, we have never received reports of any kind of criminal records or police records. You know, how shocking it would be for us if, you know, some story comes to us and so, do you know him? Do you remember her? You know, she has been arrested for this, or for drug pushing, or for this, for that. We have never had that kind of negative report till today. Everyone has turned out to be, you know, good human beings. To what extent we have contributed, I don't know, but I'm glad, you know, when we hear our students, sometimes when we are sitting, then I know that you all are saying only nice things because we are there. But when we are not around, maybe you all say other things also, which is all right. Dustin is laughing because it's true. There are tigresses in the department maybe, and I suppose that is what holds the department together also. I remember before coming to MZU, I started my early teaching years in Aizawl College, now Government Aizawl College. As a young, you know, green behind the ears teacher immediately after my MA. And through the years, I worked there for 4 years before coming to the university, Mizoram campus Nehu in those days. The students at that time, mind you, it was a night college and we used to teach under the gas lamp and all that. Electricity was that bad. And I remember on one occasion when there was this conjunctivitis, you know, eye infection thing that was going around. I had to go and take my class under the gas lamp at night, around 8, almost 9, with dark glasses. When I look back, it is so surreal, you know, it is so absurd. But we did our job, that was the thing. And I remember one time when I was giving my lecture on the platform, and the table was so light and I was lecturing so much, I was so much into my lecture that I pushed the table, you know, and I almost fell on top of the table. I still remember that also. So here also we do make, I know we do make some funny mistakes in class, which I'm sure y'all record and laugh behind our backs, but that is all right. But what I'm trying to say is, even in Aizawl College, they used to say, Pizwaltai, that is the lady Pithanzwali who runs Gospel Centenary School till today, she and Mrs. Margaret Zama, they are so strict, we are so scared of them. So my reputation is intact, I'm happy. And next year I will be retiring, my reputation will be intact. So with that, I say thank you. There are many things to say, we'll go on sharing. And maybe in the years to come, you all may hear more about me. This is not a promise, but it's actually part of my future project. You know, I'll be writing down experiences by way of fiction and non-fiction. You all can look for yourselves in my writings in future, and try to identify yourselves in my writings. Thank you.
This is by way of response, obviously, to the alumni comments. It's been so interesting. And I was trying to save it for tomorrow. Perhaps if time permits, I'll be doing the down memory lane bit again tomorrow also. You know, when one of the alumni was talking about Pubaral's classes, this is also actually, you know, a very, very fond memory that I have. I still remember that, you know, for those of us who are here now in the first and the third semesters, and maybe for some of us who are doing the coursework, you all might not recall, but you know, the building that we are now in is the permanent building. We used to be housed somewhere, you know, in this particular, as you go up this particular road, there'll be a turn where the incubation center is now. We were in that building. So from Tan Mari, we had come to that makeshift place, and then eventually in the year 2014, latter half of it, we shifted down to our permanent building. In that particular building, where we were housed in that, you know, in the makeshift place on Tanchil campus, I still remember there was this, you know, it was this L-shaped building, and we shared it with a lot of other departments. And it was like mixed schools, not only schools from the department. Like, you know, upstairs there was a history department. After they vacated, management came in. Down the corridor we had the zoology department, and you know, we had physics up there, economics, social work at a point of time also, and of course Mizo department. So you can imagine, you know, it was just this huge cluster of departments. And then I shared, you know, so it was this L-shaped building, and then, you know, we had the classrooms on one side, and then the faculty, the head's room was in the corner, and then there was this little extension. So there was a washroom there, and there was, you know, there was this partition. So there was a plywood partition, and I shared that plywood partition with Pubaral. So, you know, so it was like Pubaral, he's looking at me as though I'm making it up, but I am not. And there's a lot, you know, there are lots of witnesses to that. So you know, that plywood partition was there, and then so Pubaral and myself. So one day, I went out and we had this water cooler. We still have the water cooler, by the way, in the department. It's out there on the first floor, just near the library and the research scholars room. That water cooler was something that was shared by everybody, you know, everyone. And right up there on the road to, you know, people coming down from the bus, our department. So we were the ones, but it was housed there in our department, the veranda out over there. One day, I went to take water, and then there was this class. I'm not going to mention which batch. There was this lady who was selling guava. And, you know, it was the guava season. So, you know, there were a whole lot of students who were out there, and they were bargaining with this woman who was selling guava. And it was, you know, nice, ripe, succulent guava, which was very fine. Then suddenly it struck me that I looked at my watch, and then I realized that it was not even break. And, you know, and then I looked at the routine, and they started looking at me, and you know, Janet said, you know, there were these tigresses in the department. So she was very polite. She didn't actually mention the, you know, very explicitly, but you knew who they were. So, going by reputation, I looked at the guava seller, and then she looked back at me. I looked at the students, they looked, and then I looked at my watch, I looked at the notice board, and everything was actually all wrong. And then I went, in the routine, it was Professor Baral's class. And then I said, is Baral not in the class? So nobody replied. And so, and the guavas also went unsold that day. A lot of guavas went unsold, all thanks to me. And I said, why are you all out of the class? So they didn't say anything. Then I went to the classroom. We had 2 large classrooms. So the third semester, it was a third semester batch, I must confess. So they went, there were 2 doors. And then Pubaral was there, and he was, beating the lectern, and, he was looking up, and he was having such a nice time. And I said, Pubaral is having such a good time inside the class. He is laughing all by himself. Why don't you all get in to share the joke? Nobody found it funny, of course. And then, of course, there were these people, and they were later on I heard that they were really annoyed with me because I believe they used to take, the benches were arranged, they were like 4 rows, basically. And there was a small 5th row, it was like pretty cramped. It seems they used to take turns going out to buy fruit or doing anything of that. And Dustin tells me, to my horror, they went to the canteen also, for that matter. So, and so they went, it seems they used to take this entire chakkar, and it was the last row that I caught, and they thought it was very unfair because all the 3 rows had bought guavas, and I came out, and then I was responsible for them not buying guava. So, so what I want to basically, I think, I know a couple of y'all who are in that particular batch. This is also my way of saying, going down memory lane, that I have nothing against guavas, or guava sellers for that matter. But I do have something about students sitting properly in the class, and especially in Pu. And Pubaral was, it was really nice. It must have been about deconstruction, or whatever. He was beating, and, he was deconstructing, and he was doing that, and, So I sent them back, and, but it was really good because, when I sent them back, they all went, and Pubaral didn't even notice. So that is it, basically. And then the other thing that I also wanted to share was very quickly, we had this batch, they were here in the morning. There was a particular batch which we had for PhD, MPhil PhD coursework. And suddenly UGC had these regulations that prior to that, prior to a certain year, we did not have to have, coursework for MPhil and PhD. And then what happened was, suddenly the UGC came, slapped the regulations on all of us, and then everybody had to go in for coursework. So we had a whole lot of students, most of them were here in their forenoon, by the way, and they had to, for many, many years, like after 10, 15, whatever, more than that, years of service, they had to come step into the classroom, not only do the coursework, but also do the end semester examination. That was the shock and the horror of their lives. And that was again, many years back. Then people like me, because we had doctorate degrees, we went to these very senior people. Some of them were even heading their own departments. I had to take attendance, and I had to call out their name, and then they had to say, present ma'am. So, it was very irksome for me, for them all. Then what I remember was, Maggie was the head of the department at that particular point of time. So one day they came and told me that they started campaigning to all the faculty, and they said, can we do without the exams in the end semester? So I said, the whole point is you all have been through the entire coursework, do the exam. So they went, and then they went and told Maggie. They pleaded, they petitioned, and one of them, I remember, he's a very senior person from Lunglei Government College and a scholar of Pidiki, and he went and he told Maggie, and he came and narrated the version to me. He said in Mizo, I went and told Maggie, Madam, atling hianron tling lu tilangin exam lo himin palangim. Of course, what he meant was, if I start coming and crawling inside your room, will you allow me to be exempted from the end semester examination? And I believe Maggie was obviously not very amused. So the end of the story was that everybody sat for the examination, and they passed also, for that matter. So, those are a part of, aspects that we remember in terms of down memory lane. We remember each one very fondly. I'm sure You all remember us fondly and not too fondly also for that matter at certain points of time. We're very glad that we could do this today. We're having the session also tomorrow, a couple of sessions. We're also hoping that our present batch also, for that matter, you don't have to be alumni, will have more and more experiences down memory lane.
Thank you, Ms. MLP. Since the bus leaves at 4:30, I think it's time for us to end our program. I thank you once again, and for all of you who sit till the end of the program, you are more precious to us. Thank you all, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. So please come again tomorrow at 11, where we'll be having a wonderful moment. We'll be having listening to songs and readings from the alumni and the research scholars. So please be there tomorrow. Thank you all.